Live from the apocalypse, tossing buffalo sauce on your hip hop discussion. This is State of the Game. Spicy. I am the Kevin Harlan of hip hop commentary, play by play, you know, and my co-host every week is humble and happy, even though he was cut out of the new Mario movie.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Part in the Mario movie, but they cut him out. So, thank you for being here, Kay.
Thanks, man.
Yep, I appreciate you. And we have some guests today. We have one of the really great, not just one of my favorite producers, but I love the cover art. I think he makes some of the cover art. Talking about Klwn Cat. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
That's one box here. We got multiple guests. We've got Unruly, who an incredible MC, and I can't wait to talk to about the steps forward made every project. And we have No God and Nonazz in their own box as well. We're going to talk about two projects, NODUO, that Nonazz and No God did together, and Don't Go Outside, which Klwn Cat and Unruly did together. And I want to start with Don't Go Outside to kind of set the table here, because I think it's a very important project. And I would love to discuss it here. First of all, Kay, what did you think when you listened to it? What did you take away from it?
I liked it. It felt like a very cohesive project. And I liked, because we had a guest on last week and we talked about an album where I felt like it was a collection of songs, but this actually felt like a cohesive project that had a vision where all the songs contributed towards the vision.
Yeah, most definitely, man. We tried to make the record as cohesive as possible. You know, we try to keep it short and sweet. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely try to keep the album short and sweet. 11 songs, 35 minutes, you know, just to give it a full, cohesive, and smooth play. So I appreciate the love and you realizing that it's not just a collection of songs, and that it's a record made rather than a group of made records. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. I think it's, you know, I would say that there's like we were talking about stages of growth as an MC the last week, and I said a lot of times on your first album you are trying to express how good you are at this, you know.
Facts. Trying to prove yourself.
Yeah, and so I think Black Graffiti was your show album, right? I heard Black Graffiti when it came out, and I was like, "Holy shit, this guy's good," right?
Right.
And from then on, when your name came up, I was like, I'm interested, right? It puts your foot in the door. And then this is the Prove album, right? Because I was trying to distill it into like a bumper sticker kind of thing. It's like paranoid and savage and hurt and wounded and lyrical, super lyrical. But it's also very polished. It's very polished in a way that keeps me coming back. So if I can give you an example of what I'm talking about, the Static Started is a crazy song. Because of how fast Knack launches in on that, and then how it slows down.
Facts. And how off kilter it is, you know?
Definitely.
Off kilter, it slows down, goes into kind of a slower chorus that you deliver, and then you go and you match the speed Knack did. It's a beautiful thing. The structure of these songs is really sound.
Thank you.
Yeah, we try to like I said, man, we try to go into the record and make a record, you know, like with song structure and hooks and bridges and whatever it needed to do. Like, I really wanted to convey my state of mind, you know. I really wanted to make something clear, you know, and just give it, man. That's my little brother.
And to touch up on the first thing you said, Dan, mainly the whole album was inspired again, by like the feeling of paranoia, like disjointedness. That was like one of the biggest things we came to mind on it.
Yeah, and after we dropped Obsidian, because we had dropped Obsidian, it was a really early single for us to drop, for the album to drop in March, right? But after we dropped Obsidian, I had gone into a bit of a creative block, right? And Obsidian comes up on my Spotify, and I'm listening to it. I'm listening to the words and the themes and the concepts, and I'm like, yo, this is the album. This is what I need to center the entire album around. And that's what I did, you know, after sitting down with it and listening to the beats that Klwn sent me, it all came together pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible lesson, because you did the song, it worked out, you hit a roadblock with your writing, and you went back to the song and dug into it and were like, the answer's right here. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, because we've talked to some rappers who have started a project and they didn't know the direction it was going in, and then maybe midway towards the end they create a song and then they're like, it's like an aha moment, like that's what the album's about. So the fact that you had it from the gate, that's pretty unique.
Right, you know, that's kind of, because like, Obsidian was the first song I wrote for the entire album, the first beat I got for the entire album. So it's only right that I make that song the centerpiece of the record. And understandably, it's the 5th track on the 10-track record, you know? So it all kind of worked out.
Yeah, it's I wish. Yeah, and the thing about the album, to me, Kay, this is one of the rare albums where the most important song on it to me is the title track, the last song.
Thank you so much for saying that, man. I can't agree with you more.
It's so perfectly positioned on the album. The hi-hats and the weird, creepy bass. I think there's a line on there where you're like, I want to kill myself and I don't know why. And I was like, what this album is about, you know, like this is your inner savage moments where you're just tearing yourself apart. That's what this album is. Don't go outside. And the whole thing, that song to me, it unlocks the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and Bill. Oh, go ahead.
No, my bad, fam. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I like the fact that you build towards it. You know, you have the "Don't Go Outside" tag in front of every song, but there's given no context kind of towards it. But then when you hit that last song, then it starts to becoming clear what you're trying to communicate.
Facts, especially in that second verse. The crack the door, hold the knife, you crack the doors back and forth, crack the doors, dad and mom, the matches show the happy source. Like, the whole thing is like centered on like what's behind the cracked door. You know what I'm saying? What's outside? What's outside of it? And that's why I don't go there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No. Don't go outside is hinted, right? It's like you'll break down race in America, or you'll break down, like, you know, people just being shitty. then you remember, oh, I'm listening to Don't Go Outside, and that makes sense, you know.
Right.
And then the end track hits you, and I think it's really cool. The other thing that I was going to talk about with this album, Kay, I know a lot of people my age who walk around angrily saying these kids ain't spitting, you know, because they heard 3 kids on the radio who they didn't like,
Exactly.
and kids aren't spitting. I feel like I could hand Don't Go Outside to these people and be like, follow everybody that guests on this verse, right? Like,
Right.
listen to Patty Honcho, you know, listen to Dak, listen to, like, all these people are just ripping through tracks.
Ripping shit.
I can't
And they
decide
might,
guest verse I like the best. Everybody is just so fucking good.
you know, can I reveal to y'all my favorite guest verse?
Go for it. Yeah.
I gotta say, man, Patty Honcho,
Yeah.
Oh,
the man Patty Honcho, he's
Insane.
like, I got profound respect for Patty. Like,
Yeah.
Patty is like someone in the underground, like me personally, not to be arrogant, but I don't look up to many in the underground. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I feel like I'm on the level of a lot of top underground talent, you know? But like, I feel like Patty is, I look up to Patty, you know? Like the way he crafts his shit, the way he schemes his shit, the way he writes his shit, the way he flows his shit, it's insane. So I gotta say Patty is my favorite guest verse on the record.
For sure.
Oh, Patty went insane, and Patty's flow is beautiful. I am proud to be able to say I've already interviewed Patty, and a lot of people haven't yet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that album, yeah, that's Hades is great. The one that I think I have been really getting pulled into is Leaking Oil with Sun Moon.
Yeah.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that.
Oh,
Yeah, man. That one, it's like, it's great to follow, to go before Hades too, because like, if you hear one of my lines in Hades, it's like, my folks in Ben Loyal Ventures is tinfoil, inches forward, trekking through the thick oil, call it treacherous as decadent misfortune. You know, it's like the leaking oil is kind of the thick oil I'm trekking through, you know?
Right.
And like, what I described in my first verse and what Money describes in the second verse is kind of the contents of that oil. Dealing with the contents of narcissism and the woes of self-deprecation, but also insane ego. You know, it's kind of a weird thing to go hand in hand, but that's how I kind of look at the.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's awesome. I mean, the thing on a simple level, what I love about Sun Mundi is a part of the avant-garde scene and is incredibly artistic and incredibly like thoughtful, but spits like he's trying to kill you in a battle.
Fantastic artist. Oh my gosh. When he sent me that verse, Sun Money originally had my favorite verse on the album. Like when he first sent it back, I was texting Klwn. I was like, yo, this might be like the best verse on the album, period. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My verse. You know? That man was going crazy. And funny story, actually, Monday was a late addition to the record. We didn't know if Leaking Oil was going to be on that album or not.
Yeah.
Leaking Oil was like probably like one of the 2 last songs added to the record. Probably
I think it was the last one. It was.
Yeah.
We submitted it right after we got the Sun Mundi verse.
Yeah, exactly. Because we was like, we didn't know if the beat like fit the rest of the tone of the album, especially the first half of the beat. So we was gonna cut it all together, but we had some obligations, and they needed the album to be 10 songs. So it was like, bet.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
then Son Mooney just like sent his like bone chilling verse, and like right when I heard that, I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. Like near the end to like close it off. It's just like perfect.
Facts. And bone chilling is a perfect way to describe that verse. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't put it.
So a question for both of you, because this is a very unique sounding album, just sonically, right? It's a very
Right.
interesting album.
Right.
And so how did you want it to sound in your head before you started it? And does it sound like that?
I'm not. That's a great question. I'm not gonna lie. When I first when Klwn first approached me for the record, I had imagined a record full of tracks like Ramsey's, because we have seen Ramsey's do a lot of great numbers and shit. So I imagined the records with a lot of, soul chops and posse cuts and shit like that. But I thought that was too close to Black Graffiti. I thought Black Graffiti was soulful enough, I feel like we got Ramsey's Unruly already, and we already have Black Graffiti and Some to Prove and Rolling Peace, and so I was like, I want to push myself to the limit. And I hit Klwn, I was like, send me the crazy avant-garde shit, the jazz, the dark, the shit that make you make the stank face. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
Like that. I got a few of those tracks with what's the name? Those coming soon. But yeah, stuff like that. Like, we were going to name the record Obsidian Trench Coats, right? And that was a little on the nose, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, low on the nose. But we were going to name that album Obsidian Trench Coats because, like, just short-cutting, jagged, and raw,
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely the goal. So would I say that the album came out exactly how I expected it to came out when I was first approached? Probably not, no. But did it come out perfectly? For sure.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I gotta agree because I sent Unruly probably a pack of 10 beats at first, and only 2 had that like jazzy sound, and those are the only 2 he picked. So I knew, like, as time goes forward, I need to send him like those exclusively. So yeah, at first I really thought it'd be like a bunch of like cleaner, like more melodic ones, but it just ended up being the opposite and perfect.
Right, and we did have a somewhat melodic track that also had my brother on it, Unknown Ink, or Tomorrow Isn't Safe. We had another melodic track, but it didn't fit the album at all.
Yeah,
it
was too bright.
Yeah, it was like some uplifting, you know what I'm saying, Black Queen shit.
That is never touching anyone's ears.
That is the next. That's the next album. That's the Chance the Rapper album.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it for nobody, but I am going in a prettier, not prettier because I'm the most unruly, right? But I am going in a more serene, more beautiful type sound.
Yep.
Than No God outside, And what's good? No God, what's good? Is that Naz?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
What's good? What's good?
It's good. No,
So
it's we've seen in rap music, because like there'll be people like that put out completely different sounding albums. People will get mad about it, and then they'll be like, "Oh, it worked out," and you're like, as long as that sound is in you, right? Is in your writing, is in your heart, like it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I would never make a trap album, because that's not me.
Right.
I'm not going to step outside of something I know it's not me. Mm-hmm. But like soulful, the beautiful jazz, like I feel like you're not a great rapper if all you do is put people down.
Right.
Like all this heavy shit, even yourself. If all you're doing is always putting yourself down, which some could say that I do, right? But I feel like you can't be a great rapper if you just always putting people down or put yourself down. You gotta talk about the good shit, man. You alive, you breathe.
Yeah,
You alive and you breathe. You blessed.
yeah. You got to think of it like a conversation, right? If somebody goes up to you and they're like, "The whole world sucks except me," you're gonna be like, "Yeah, okay,
Right, exactly.
all right."
What the fuck you talking about? Right,
Holden Caulfield. Yeah.
Right. You're like, all right, nothing wrong there. But yeah, so it's just weird. So, but that, I don't know. It's such a unique sounding album, and it's an album that you can hold up against what's happening in the underground, and it holds up against
right,
everybody else's work,
Mhm.
right? Because quality of the guest versus the quality of the hooks it's really impressive.
Thank you.
And they're not all pretty hooks. It's not like you were trying to single the hook
right,
the
right.
hook on the title track is very kind of feels like one of those Tupac lost his mind hooks
Right.
that I loved. I always loved. But yeah, there's just a lot of variance and a lot going on, which is cool.
Right, right. And man, I try to like push myself to the max with this record. Cause let me tell you guys before, like I never wrote no huge choruses before. Like ask anybody who's ever rapped with me before. Like I was never a hook guy, I was never a chorus guy. And like it was nice that a lot of these choruses came naturally to me. This was like, okay, so this is just the next part of the song. I wasn't even looking at them as hooks really.
Right.
You know, it's just like, okay, this is the next part of the song. And that's a testament to Klwn Cat's beats
Right.
for being that and for allowing the ideas to flow so smoothly on top of beats that aren't the smoothest. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And that is a testament to Klwn and his greatness. And let's talk about Klwn.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about this motherfucker here. All right? Let's talk about it.
I love like Klwn will always pick a sample that I listen to all the time anyway. And I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
But like Klwn has such a good soul sensibility for the beats, but this is such a different sound. What did you dig into to create this sound?
Honestly, just stuff that I just heard no one else do. Especially if you're leaking oil. Like those two samples are not two samples, but those two like parts of it came from the same sample. And like I wouldn't picture like a song sounding like that, but I just did it. You know, why not have a second person on the second beat? I dug into stuff that it's like dark jazz. It's called like doom jazz. Definitely that sort of stuff. I dug straight into.
Doom jazz is crazy.
Yeah,
Doom jazz
but it's the best way to describe it.
Right, and you know, I'm about to give Klwn Cat his flowers right now. Okay,
Sure.
let's be real about this situation. I was a relatively unknown artist before Klwn Cat, right? And while Klwn Cat did reach out to me to work with me, I just want to say this album could sound the exact same, right?
Yep.
If not for Klwn Cat, I'm not seeing the success that I am currently experiencing and enjoying. So I just want to say I appreciate that nigga for that, because he's really elevated me into conversations with people that without him, I would have took a lot longer to enter those conversations. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say I appreciate it for that.
It's almost like an actor-director relationship where like
Right.
he puts you in the scene and you give your best performance because the environment's
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he's a all time. The talent in the underground right now is insane. Even Nonazz. Like Nonazz is more known for his raps than he is his beats. You know what I'm saying? But like even Nonazz's beats are insane. Like
oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Even his beats are insane. Like the talent is crazy in the underground, and I was blessed to work with
And
All
the
of them.
talent,
Likewise.
to go a step further, the talent in the underground is so good, and I've told this to Kay for years. It's putting pressure on the pop artists because
Mhm.
Facts.
the pop
That's a
artists
fact.
are paying big money to big name producers to sometimes give lazy versions of old beats they made years ago, right?
Facts.
And why do that when you could just hire Klwn Cat or Nonazz? Like, who cares?
And do
That's
it for
trash.
free too. What?
They'll,
But,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I
you can
tell
make
people
it-
all the time.
Yep.
I tell people all the time, man, this underground shit, it will be top sold.
Yep.
This shit will be top sold. This underground shit, there's too much talent. There's too many people. If we keep working and we keep connecting like we do, the Scaring the Whole Show, the Scaring the Whole Showcase, the Ground Up Awards, the collab albums, the producers in Australia making music with niggas from New York. You know, you got people in Cali making music with people from Sweden. You know, and like it's all the same community and it's all family. And if we all build on this shit, man, like fuck the mainstream. Fuck the mainstream.
Straight up.
We don't need to go mainstream to make this money and get this empire. Fuck them niggas. If we stay the path and stay the course, we will triumph. And I swear to God, I've never believed nothing more in my life than this underground shit.
Facts.
No, I mean it's like because there's just less rules and regulations on it, right? Like in the pop space, you kind of can't work with an unknown artist. You have to work
Right.
on your level, right?
Mhm.
You're relegated to that. But if you're underground, you're not relegated to that. Like there's no saying that, like, you know, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if we got a song with, like, you know, Curly Castro and Patty Honcho. There's
Right.
not surprise me one bit, right? Because those guys just value spitting, you know.
Right.
So it's just more wide open. So it's very likely that this generation becomes that pop generation when that pop generation ages out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they're already aging out.
Right. Yeah. It's already
They already
a tough sell for a new Big Sean album, you know?
I was just thinking that, bro. What
Yeah.
is Big Sean doing on albums in 2020?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Why would you get Big Sean to get Patty Honcho, bro?
Exactly.
Right.
No, Big Sean,
Less cringe.
Big Sean last album was good. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be fair. Big Sean last album was okay.
Yeah,
Detroit
I
2
mean,
was
Not even dropped.
Like 2020, I think, right?
Oh, Detroit 2. Oh, that shit. Yeah, I didn't even.
It was cool.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I mean,
Detroit 2 was alright.
he had one of that Red album that he put out. That was like one of the worst major rap albums I think I've ever heard. Flying Lotus.
He's got like 3, 4.
Release day. I can't remember when the name of it.
He's got like 3, 4 of them that are like top 10 worst of all time.
But yeah, there's a lot of, like, I think this generation of underground, to build on Unruly's point, is so much more legacy focused. Like,
Facts.
one of the nightmares for the younger generation is like, I want to blow up, but I don't want to blow up and then have new fans be like, oh, should I check out his stuff? And old fans be like, yeah, but skip the first album. It sucks. You know, like, I want to be able to stand by everything. So I want to be great, even if there's nobody there to look at it right now.
Mhm.
Right. And even if I'm not making money on it, like,
Right.
I still want to rap. It's like people in the underground, we're not making no money off this shit. We losing money off this shit.
Mhm.
Right.
We want to rap. We love the craft. We love to forge. And that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Niggas with money do it for money. You know?
Right.
So I don't know. I'm underground till I'm underground, dog.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's a different state of mind, and it's interesting that the Tay, how did you feel about Unruly's delivery and how it kind of grows throughout the album.
Yeah, I mean, I really like how the album was sequenced. I mean, I think the sequences, and that kind of reflects the Unruly flow evolving through the album. I think the sequencing is like really important for the album. Do you want to like go a little bit into like what was the logic behind the sequencing and how you guys did it?
So concerning that, it wasn't really that long of a process. I mean, it was, right, but the only reason it was because we were procrastinating on sequencing this shit, because we were dealing with a whole bunch of shit and still got to mix and master and all that. Mm-hmm. So once we sat down to mix and master it, and we started listening to the tracks, we was just like, oh yeah, I should definitely go after this one. What the fuck are we talking about? Like, once we sat down to do it, it all came together really quickly. Like, we probably got the sequencing down, like, once we finally sat down in like probably an hour. So, and then my man Alex did the transitions. He killed that shit. God bless.
So what was the anchoring song? What was the song you first started with and then built out the sequencing from that?
It definitely started from the intro track, because that, when I first made that beat, I sent Unruly, I named it specifically intro beat, and the outro beat, I specifically named it outro beat, just because I know like that's how it's supposed to sound in the beginning and outro. And then in the middle, I just see like what blends together best. You know, Static Started was very jazzy, so was Panthera. And Panthera kind of like sounded like it goes into Obsidian. That kind of sounded like it goes into Tell Me How You Feel. That kind of sounded like, and then from Tell Me How You Feel to Tomorrow's in Safe, it was like a big gap. So me and Unruly thought we should have like a little instrumental interlude to kind of piece those together. And then the last 8 are the last 3 or 4 are very, very dense. So we're like, you know what? Why not just piece them together? And it just worked out perfectly.
Right. And the thing about Obsidian to Tell Me How You Feel, you know how Obsidian at the very end has those little keys at the end? It leads perfectly into the Tell Me How You Feel keys. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of, it's fire. And then from the Panthera shit, it's like, it kind of like stops and then like, doom, 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 like, I don't know. I was killed the transition.
The drums on Panthera were like very panicky, so we're the ones on Obsidian, and so I'm like, you know what, back to back.
Right.
That's awesome.
It's just gut feeling mostly.
The Malice was the case transition to the Static Started, like I turned Malice into patience, practicing the law, laid traps up with the weights, and when they crack it through the door, and here they are. And then boom, the static starts. That's them. You know what I'm saying? That's them. They here. And they try to pass me the jet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a study in like, you can use songs in pairs that make sense together, and then you can contrast different pairs against each other to build contrasting sounds as well. Exactly. So that some things flow smoothly, but some things jar you at the right time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Most definitely. And that was kind of the case for the Tell Me How You Feel. Not Tell Me How You Feel for Tomorrow Isn't Safe. Because Tomorrow Isn't Safe, it's a crazy ass beat. Oh my gosh. That beat is insane. And it was crazy to write to. And like, it's a lot different from most of the songs I write, because the verses are like 25 seconds each.
Right.
The focus of the track is high key the chord and like what I say between the words of the chorus, you know? So it's like that track, the transition from the opera sing, the interlude to that track, it's like kind of peace and bliss back to disfiguration and kind of disassociation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because the beat is real disconjointed.
Mhm.
It's real disconjointed. Yeah, yeah, that was my thought process behind that song.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and we should say that you guys have a Bandcamp exclusive deluxe version with additional songs coming out on the 12th. Sorry, it'll be out by the time this comes out.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
definitely gonna cop it. Like I'm excited. I've kind of been mad not to have it on Bandcamp because I listen to a lot of stuff. So I'm excited to pay that money. And be able to throw it into playlists and all that. It'll be great. So, and I've heard, checking the social media posts, Unruly, you might be working with Static Selecta.
So here's the thing. I went to New York about 2 months ago to link up with Static because he had wanted me on the Shade 95 show. I did that show, and that was a great experience. And I was doing a lot out there, and New York was great, man. I love going to New York. New York gonna be my second home. I was walking through Huntsville and shit, and just soaking up everything, and like, cause I had a show out there and shit. I was just like soaking up the Mecca and shit. Like, I love New York, right?
Yep.
And the crazy shit is, like, all the legends around there, like, you know what I'm saying, like the Wu-Tang niggas and all them, like, them niggas just be out there, bro. Like, they just be regular people and shit. Like,
That's awesome.
Be walking New York. Yeah, that's crazy, right? And I want to get to that point. You know? And like, yeah, I got to link up with him, and we did some demos, we did some songs, and we're gonna see how those go. But yeah, Static Man was great, one of the greats of all time, and it was like kind of surreal meeting him. It was surreal meeting him. I was trying not to fanboy out, but I don't know.
For a long time, I used to walk around and say the Static is the most talented New England entity in hip hop. Being from Maine, and he's from Massachusetts, I think Static has achieved more than a lot of people, and incredible talent. So that's I'm excited for you.
Nah, he's crazy, man. And the beats he sent me were crazy, and
I'm excited that like we get the polished version of you with that work with Klwn Cat. This is something you're going to be able to hand to people and say, just listen to this. And it's going to be great. Yeah, very excited. I think those are, I mean, Kay, do you have any other Don't Go Outside?
No.
I'm groovy, man. I'm thank you for coming on. This has been awesome.
Hey, man, no doubt. I appreciate the love, for real. Found me on your show and shit. And
Yeah.
Klwn, great artist. No God, Nonazz, NODUO, great artists.
Yeah, man.
Patty, Black, One and Run, all of them great artists. And Cold Black,
Yeah.
June 7th.
Oh, Code Black, new Unruly. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, if anybody hasn't checked out Solo Black Shidori, jump in there.
Incredible.
Go deep into it. It's beautiful.
One of the craziest punchlines.
Yeah, great shit. So, yeah.
Yeah, Black's different, man.
Yeah.
All right, man, no doubt. All love. But y'all be safe, man, for real.
Yeah, definitely.
Peace.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Oh, yeah. So, the click is here. We're talking to, so now we can feed the Klwn Cat. We can do the transition, right?
Sure.
Don't Go Outside kind of comes after, and what an incredible moment for Klwn Cat of growth in terms of production. But Tipping Point. I want to talk about Tipping
Turning point.
Point. Jeez.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Turning Point, which was the album Nonazz and Klwn Cat did together. No God is on it a few times, I believe.
Mhm.
I think my definitive No God bar might be on it. I'm trying to remember. It was a guest bar, and I think it was like you said something like "fucking with no God is no bueno" or something.
Oh wait. Oh, what did I say?
Um,
I'm not sure if you said that.
No, I don't. I didn't say that, but
You
it
did
was
not-
something.
yeah.
It was something in that vein. I was like, that no God is, in my mind, the kind of MC who trusts himself enough to say shit that nobody else says.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
there's
think
definitely
that-
a few-
that's what I love.
wait. Let me look. Wait, let me look.
There's definitely a few occasions that I'll NODUO where he said some stuff. I'm like, all right, you know what? Like, I'll just let
He
him
let me
go.
hit because I'm prettier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. First thing I was thinking.
I said no God controls your destiny. Oh well, say la vie.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
the one. No, yep. No God controls your destiny. Say la vie. It was
Yeah.
the confidence behind it was just fantastic. It was just like so matter of fact. It was so cool. That's why Sankofa crowned him a young AZ. Boom.
Hmm.
That's
That's a-
not bad.
that's a hell
But
of a
tipping point. Sorry, turning point.
Point.
We'll get
Come on,
right-
Dan.
Ugh, I love. First of all, I loved the cover. Right, like when people were
Thank
like,
you.
"Listen to this," I looked at the cover and was like, "I will." So how did it come about? How did Turning Point come about?
Basically, so No God introduced me to Klwn Cat back in like we kind of formed the whole No God Records clique in like January 2022. And I kind of
It
like
was a bit earlier. but
yeah.
It was
But like
December.
yeah. I already knew Klwn Cat was he was on Twitter for some other stuff prior. So I saw he was like producing and stuff now, and I really liked it. And I was like tapping to other artists in the scene, and I saw his beats, and I was pretty much finishing my album Tranquility back then, and I was like, honestly, like might as well work with this guy, like why not? So I just messaged him like do you want to collab on something? He's like, yeah, sure. And this was back in January of that year, and from there we just like kind of just he's just sent beats back and forth. I would send him demos, and we just kind of built up like kind of a structure, and like we didn't really have an idea necessarily. I just kind of thought of the title like randomly, and it just kind of came about. But I am happy with the way it came about over the 4 months, 4 to 5 months we kind of worked on
Yeah,
it.
it was supposed to. It was mainly influenced by the August Fanon and Devsy tape.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that. It was supposed
Yeah.
to be like really short.
It
It
was
was
gonna
gonna be
be
like 5 tracks, but then he kept asking for beats, and I kept giving him, and then we turned into like 11 or so tracks.
Yeah.
But he got a lot of my early beats. I think most of those beats were like my first 50 or so.
Yeah.
That ended up making it on. So it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes. Like compared to now.
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's got some really cool stuff on it. Morning Run, it's great work on Panic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sneaky Preacher, Bottomless Pit. I
Mhm.
really like a lot of it. How did you feel about Turning Point, Kay?
I mean, I liked it, and you could hear the growth from Turning Point to NODUO,
Yeah,
which I really enjoyed.
yeah, definitely. And to me, the thing about NODUO that is so awesome, first and foremost, is how different your voices are, and how like with a great duo, you kind of need to like their voices
Mhm.
together.
Mm. Yes.
The voices have to like really cover each other's space, and like you guys are covering vastly different spaces vocally, like
Yeah. It's great to
uh,
hear.
the high and the low. So I think it's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you guys want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the growth from Turning Point to NODUO?
I think it's a good call.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can't lie. Like Klwn Cat put me onto a lot of artists, like since Turning Point dropped, and like it really helped me just, I guess, like get better with flow and like lyricism, and just like know what kind of stuff I want to do with rapping. And I got to give credit to him on that, because I was listening to a lot more underground stuff, a lot more stuff in the scene, and just stuff that I think really helped me just like know what I wanted to do as a rapper, what I really cared about.
Are there any ones that come to mind specifically?
Off the top of my head, I can say Concept Jackson, because like that was That was one guy I just really took a lot of inspiration from and who I listened to a lot. Like yeah, I also like a lot of MCs in the scene, like Matt Drago's Morning Run, a lot like Patty Honcho, like Unruly as well, some stuff, just stuff that everyone was kind of creating, and just asking myself, like, what do I want to like do with that, with it, you know, just like what do I care about to kind of create with.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. But and so you like Nonazz, when you had No God feature, what were your thoughts when how the songs came out?
It was really interesting to see because he started like that was when he like began rapping, and his growth, like to witness it since then is crazy, especially because he did like some really insane features like the summer, like winter, like even a few weeks after Turning Point dropped, he was doing some crazy features for like stuff me and our friends would do as well. So it was I definitely wanted to feature him because we were both doing music, and like we both like it would definitely make sense to have him on like a first pretty like bigger album than like stuff I did in the past.
Yeah. And like just to chime in, like we were friends before I started making music.
Yeah.
So I started rapping like around this time last year, probably more seriously March, April. So the verse on Crash and the verse on Bottomless Pit are probably within the first 5 verses I wrote and recorded, I'd say.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I think from what I remember, like Naz wasn't, he wasn't like the biggest fan. Like he was still trying to wrap around it, and like I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But I still appreciate him like putting me on and like giving me a shot. Same for Klwn Cat.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's wild. First 5 verses, Kay.
Yeah. Wow. I wouldn't have even been able to tell.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good news. Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it's and so when it turned out well, No God, did you always know that Nonazz was producing as well?
Yeah, actually, I knew because I've known him for a while now, so I knew he self-produced his own albums. So you go back to the first one, Guilt Trip. That was the first Nonazz album I heard. I thought, okay, like I wasn't crazy about it, but it's cool to see someone around my age doing something, for myself. And then I heard the second one, Tranquility. He actually sent me the album early, and I have like a little cameo on it. I don't know if you listened to that album or not.
Oh, I've not. Yeah, no.
It was so it's like half beats and then half him rapping, and then there's a couple.
It's all my production. It's a mix of like me rapping on there versus just like solo beats, and he wasn't rapping during then, so I was like, you want to do like a quick voice interlude or like feature? And he's like, yeah, sure. So
yeah, so I just popped in, but I like the beats. Like it's obviously not as polished as what he's doing now, but because he's definitely grown a lot, but like the ideas were there and he executed it pretty well. So I've known about it for a while.
That's awesome. So you were confident both ways. When did NODUO come about? And was it an easy process? Was it a difficult process? How was it?
I think it came about in like October of last year.
Yeah. So so just to give a bit more background, so I did the features for Naz, and I would also just come over here because he lives like about an hour west of me. So I take the subway all the way west to Royal York Station in Toronto, and then I take the bus down to his house because he lives nearby the lake, and then we'd record for a while before I had to go because it was a trek back. And like him and Klwn Cat actually both oversaw a lot of my rapping, basically, like my early stuff, and they definitely helped like shape me into what I'm doing now, basically, just from feedback and stuff like that. It started off like I don't think like Naz and I didn't always see eye to eye with things, and that could it caused like frustration, just a little bit of like underlying tension, but we were still friends, so like it wasn't too big of a deal.
Yeah.
And eventually in the summer last year, was when I think we both just started to like understand each other, and we both understood each other's approach and began to like have a lot more respect for each other, at least. And like that's when he was making his album Traffic, and I could definitely see what he was putting together, and I thought it was great. And I just thought his rapping just elevated so much from the Turning Point. And then I, like he said before, I rapped like a couple verses for our homies, and like they're unreleased, but
Yeah.
that's when I started to come into my own a bit more. And then I think that's when, you know, it kind of all came together until in October he sent me the beat for, no, actually, no, I was here.
He came over in October and we were just cooking
Yeah.
up some stuff, and I made the
Mhm.
Brazilian Haze beat, and like
Yep.
that was kind of like, I guess, the main like starter for NODUO, because like that was the first one I made, and we just thought like this could be good for like the project. We were already thinking of like doing more tracks together, because we didn't actually do
Yeah.
that much,
We
honestly.
we just did the
The
Turning
thing,
Point track.
the stuff on Turning Point, that was pretty much, plus a few stuff with our friends in the summer, but that was like nothing super official so far.
Yeah, exactly. It was just so yeah, so that was like we decided we wanted to make more tracks together. I was actually here because I was away at school, but then I came back for a week. I had off, and I linked up with Naz, came to his house. He made a beat like on the spot, and that was the Brazilian Haze beat. And then I was like, I really like this. It kind of has, to me, it kind of has like this Mobb Deep sort of vibe that I really liked, and that's kind of what inspired the hook eventually. And
Yeah, it's
that ended up being like the starting point, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't really agree to become like NODUO until it just came up randomly one day, and we just decided to do a tape in like November or December.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Klwn Cat, as someone who's worked with both of these, No God and Nonazz, outside of this group, how have you felt about NODUO? Oh, dramatic silence.
He just does not like it.
He doesn't like it.
He has nothing to say about it.
No, he doesn't like it.
Speechless.
I
Yep.
think.
Is he there?
Let me see. He hasn't said.
Might be out. But that's okay. The
There.
we can talk. The Brazilian Haze is an important song.
Mhm.
It
Yep.
definitely feels like an important song. On the album, where there's like lyrical stuff being flexed. And it's I really like this project and have listened to it a lot
Appreciate that.
because of how clean it is. It's really clean and it's really pretty. Like it's really fun to listen to.
That's
Alex-
that's a testament to his production. That's
Absolutely.
That's all it is, you know. I think one thing Klwn Cat really thrives in is a lot of like very kind of gritty but warm, but it's almost like fuzzy kind of production.
Yep.
But
Thank
Naz
you.
is a bit more on the opposite side of the spectrum.
Oh wait, he's back. You can.
Yeah, sorry. Everything cut out for like 10 seconds, and I just got Naz's text. What happened?
But
It was okay. No, I was asking your thoughts on NODUO.
Oh, it's great tape. It really shows improvement, because I've heard so many demos from them in the past. But NODUO really like came together great. Like some of Naz's best productions, some No God's best verses, Naz's best verses. That's released. And all in all, it's just like, yeah, it's a really great bundle of tape. The cover matches the vibe. It's sequenced great, like great features too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a point, Kay, where he's like, No God starts saying like split you like integers. And I'm like, this dude's hitting me with the homework. Getting bars from his homework. I love this. I love hip hop music.
Yeah,
Use what you got. Use what
Yeah.
you
he's on something different with bars sometimes.
yeah, no, sometimes I don't even know how I come up with it. It just
Yeah.
Split like
So
one
no, dude,
direction.
how would you describe what do you guys think makes you guys work as a group? Like what is that element that they get from that you know your audience gets from you that they can't get from anywhere else?
I think number one, it's how easily seen our chemistry is, because people were already like praising it a lot when this record dropped, which I think is great for like a first record already.
Yeah.
But also we both have a tendency to see, you know, a creative vision and like kind of do something that other artists don't really want to do, which could be like doing a interesting concept, you know, adding some nice visuals with like cover art, for example, and just like also clean sequencing where it's like all killer, no filler, just stuff that they like tracks that everyone should hear, like nothing that they shouldn't. Like we really know like what people would like want to hear, I think.
Yeah, I think so. He's looking at it more from like you know, like more of like a superficial, like if you just look at it, that kind of thing. But I think what makes us work in terms of the actual music, it's hard to describe, but we just both we both kind of share the same ideas of like the direction where songs will go. So, you know, whether or not we need a hook, whether or not we should bring someone else for a hook or for a verse, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with something like light industry, where that beat just really builds up, and then, you know, Naz goes first. He has a quick little verse, and then he's just kind of talking his shit leading up to it.
Yep.
That almost serves as a hook in a way, because then it leads up to the drop again when the loop restarts, and then I come in with like secret scriptures, and then I start right with the loop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just little things like that. We just pay attention to the details. I think we have a good feel for structure.
We can definitely agree on stuff pretty easily. Like if one of us doesn't like it, we can always find a way around it. Like I think we work well enough that both of us are satisfied with what we're doing. Like we don't really like put someone else's ideas over the other.
Exactly. And that really came together with the sequencing too. Like
yeah, absolutely.
We picked out the beats first, so we knew the order before the songs were even written. And we were like, okay, we made an idea of like, do we want to put this at the start, middle, or end?
Does it sound like it would?
One,
yeah.
Yeah. We want to see like what it would sound like, but it sounded like more like an intro or like beginning of the album song, middle, or the end. And we ended up agreeing on like everything, and then the order just came in so nicely.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think like what they did really well is to know what they want to do, which is a lot. Like knowing what you want to do is not as easy as I made it sound. It's fucking difficult. And if you look at the cover for NODUO, right, and it's perfect for what this music is, right?
Yeah.
The shadows are there in front of you, but the sunlight is right there. You can see it, you know?
Yeah.
And that this album does, this project feels, you can feel the warmth at times, and you can feel the chill at times, and that's a great balance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I just want to go back to the production because we touched on it for a sec. I just think well, we picked the right beats, but Naz made some really dope beats.
Yeah.
And they both work well for both of our voices. And we talked about this the other day. And it's like when we're making our own solo stuff, you know, there's times where I'm like, you know, Naz wouldn't sound good on this, but I would sound good on this.
Yeah.
Naz would sound good on this, but I wouldn't.
I get a beat from someone. I'm like, I don't think No would sound good on this if we want to collab. Like it's always just you know, thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, but when we do find, you know, the right beats that would fit both of us, that's when the magic happens. You know what I mean? And that's when we're able to just capture the light in the bottle, and you know, it's something great. But he gave us like he gave us like some really, really warm, good beats with like a lot of soul, a little bit of jazz at times, you know, a lot of melody.
A pretty good soundscape, I guess, to capture what we wanted.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, and as a music purchaser, I was like, 8 songs and one of them was an interlude. And then like I get to the interlude, I'm like, nah, this shit goes. Like I fuck with this. Like it's so that the production throughout is impressive. In the warmth and the spread of it. But I have to talk to everybody about Gothic Delphine.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
Gothic Delphine's amazing,
Yeah.
And it was like my very first reaction. Who the fuck is this?
Absolutely.
That's our friend Zoe. So shout out Zoe.
Yeah, shout out Zoe.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually got to give credit to it would be Bill and Zach. So Sneaky Preacher and our other homie Big Z. Shout out to both of them.
Yep.
Because they're both outstanding artists in their own right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they got us connected with
They got us
Gothic
connected with
Delphine.
one guy, Jake, and we met Gothic Delphine through him, and
Yeah.
she came over a few times to record, and like it just like it's the What Happened song that was made actually, that was actually the first NODUO song made, because that was made way back in August last year over a beat I sent her, and like we didn't know what to do with it, but we thought it would just kind of fit the NODUO thing, because number one, even if it doesn't have us rapping on it, it's still a great song to incorporate within the project.
Yeah.
Because, like, the production, it fits decent enough, because like it still feels warm, and like it kind of goes with like the vibrant colors.
Yep.
And like, it's like, and instead of a track, maybe like putting a track that we weren't as confident in versus that one, like it's a better kind of this solution, I think, and a great way for people just to hear and like enjoy it, like,
Yeah, we just honestly, I think for me, not even just that, I just, she's an incredible talent. I just wanted to give her like, a platform, just like that one moment in like an already good album to like really shine through, because she's just that good. You know what I mean? She already has that really catchy earworm hook on Crescent Lake.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I love that. Like I love that little hook. It's very, I never get sick of it. I can just play it all.
No, it's and that was gonna be my only suggestion is like if you do another one of these, just fold Gothic Delphine into the group. Just do it.
Oh, absolutely. Mandatory.
Absolutely.
Just
No,
put just three-person weave. You got it.
Yeah.
She's been more involved with us too. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
no, it's like really thankful to be working with her, considering like we could be paying some girl we don't know like hundreds of dollars for hooks or something, but we could just do this through like connections and just like working with people that like are really talented within our city. Like it's awesome.
It's very organic, because it's like, in a way, it's almost, we've just all come together from the same city. Like even Sneaky Preacher, one of our friends. So NODUO is kind of just like made by a bunch of friends in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because him and I, we actually met him through Twitter. Like we just saw him and we knew he was from the city and that he rapped, and we just linked him one day.
Yep. And he
awesome.
blew us away.
Yeah, no, we knew he was like great to work with, and he put us on the other guys, and like it's awesome to like find people like who kind of share the same interest and vision with you.
Yeah.
Around.
Yeah, you got to use your resources. You got to use your resources, and that is, I mean, an obvious natural resource. So this does seem like NODUO. There's a lot of room to grow here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely.
There's a lot. This is a project to get excited about, because there's more to come.
I guess to show like what we can offer, what we can do, but like definitely not like the greatest. Like it's a great, I think it's a great appetizer for what we have.
It's a great start.
It's short but sweet, but it's like all killer, no filler, but like really just shows like what we're offering for like a first attempt,
Yeah.
Mm.
I think we'll definitely, we'll refine this chemistry that we already have. I think that's a good way to
just
put
try
it.
and push beyond more limits and really test ourselves what we can do as a duo that we never even thought we could.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Klwn Cat, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. So what would you like the next NODUO album to sound like?
Oh, there's a lot of producers I would like to hear them work with.
Okay.
Ranging from like, I feel like they would go really well over some Foul Monk beats.
Oh, Foul Monk is great. Yeah.
That would be nuts. Perhaps some Iceberg Theory in there. That would be also really nice.
Iceberg.
And going like in that little direction of that group, I would also say Blood Blixing. It would be really dope.
Blixing. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Just some odd realm of production I feel like they could really strive over.
I agree.
That's fun. That's fun stuff. Yeah, you do. If it's Iceberg Theory, you could do some, some collabs, some Montana collabs.
With the Blicky Boys.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to I would say my suggestion is always like I would love to hear the next album be like the soundtrack to a house party.
A house party.
Ooh.
Like
Mm.
nobody makes party
Yeah,
records
yeah.
anymore or party albums. Like it would be funny to have a party rap album that wasn't goofy, that wasn't like clownish, you know.
Feel that?
That could
Yeah.
be hard to pull off though, probably.
Yeah.
Very hard to pull off, no question. But if you do, legendary.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so we're actually in the process of making a second album.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
We kind of built it up like pretty instantly after we finished this one
yeah.
because we knew like there's so much more to like conquer and like break boundaries with. So yeah, we definitely like plan stuff.
Yeah. So the next one, can I just tell
Do it.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So it's gonna be fully produced by our homie Big Z, who's
Okay.
MC and producer,
Yeah.
but he'll probably be on the album a couple times.
He's a
like
friend
that.
that Sneaky Preacher introduced to us, but it's funny because like he doesn't really, his name doesn't really ring a bell because he's not that out there, but I
Right.
will say his production is something else, and I think people are really gonna appreciate it because one thing I will say is I don't know if you guys hear a lot of producers that that can mix a bunch of different samples together. Like you got like
Bomb Squad style.
you got a piano, you got a vocal, like just two different random things, but like it just mixes together from like the same keys and stuff.
Yeah.
Because
You make symphonies.
yeah,
That's what I
because a
call
lot
it.
of my beats and a lot of stuff I see is just like kind of one sample looping, which is great. It's always like well
Yeah,
respected for
classic. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's definitely gonna give us a different challenge, a different approach to it.
yeah.
It's gonna be a lot more cinematic, a lot more grand in a way.
There's a lot to be excited for
Yeah,
this one. It's a really great shit. It's a really
I
great
know as a
concept.
writer, I'm gonna be approaching that with, I'm gonna attempt to cover a lot of ground with themes of like change and growth, because I think that can apply to so many different aspects of life.
Yeah.
Whereas NODUO is more about, in a way, it's about youth, it's about adolescence, and it's about a bunch of experiences that have shaped me.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I think I could say the same for Naz, just from what I get out of the
Yeah.
lyrics.
Yeah. I would say the same.
Yeah, like, Crash Part 2, very introspective. Same thing with Seabird,
Yeah.
Crescent Lake as well. There's just a lot of different feelings.
Surroundings currently, just like
Yeah. Like Scintillation, Light Industry are obviously kind of like high points when you feel super confident.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. I think that's exciting. I'm
Absolutely.
glad that you hit the lab instantly because I was definitely like, this definitely feels like they should keep moving on this,
Keep the momentum going. Yeah.
Momentum going. It's awesome.
So Dan, I just wanted to ask you though.
Yeah.
And actually K2, did you guys have like a favorite track or a couple standout tracks?
Oh, let's
You guys
go.
Yeah. I'll start. I mean, obviously Brazilian Haze.
Mm.
I even thought because I listened to Don't Go Outside first.
Mhm.
And so
Okay.
when the first track Crescent Lake hit me,
It's a
I was
different
like-
world. It's
yeah,
a
it was like
different
a
world.
Complete change of pace.
oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really liked the first three songs, Crescent Lake. I'm gonna try to pronounce it. Scintillion,
Scintillation.
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 Yeah.
Scintillation, and then Brazilian Haze was probably my highlight.
Yeah, I would say that is the run, right? Those first three tracks. I mean, I'm gonna say Crescent Lake is definitely one of my favorite first songs of the year.
Oh, I appreciate
Oh,
that.
thank you. Yeah.
It's such a great way to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Big chorus. Yeah, what was that? Nina Simone song, okay? It feels so good. Or remember that shit?
Birds Flying High. You know how.
Yeah, birds flying high. You know how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like that. Like, oh shit, let's go. And it was great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Brazilian Haze is the rapping. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the track. And so to that 3-song run really folds itself in nicely. and it's bookended by, you know, Gothic Delphine. It's really, yeah, it's really awesome. So
Thank
that
you.
was, I go with Crescent Lake just because that moment of keying into this album through
Mhm.
that song is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best part about it
Perfect
is
road.
that
Yeah.
everybody's giving different answers for their favorite tracks, and we've
Mm.
heard pretty much everything.
That's good
Yeah,
news.
yeah. Honestly, yeah. That
Everyone has different favorites.
that's one thing that surprised me. People like some people love Seabird, like Crash Part 2. Like that was the one that was doing the most in the first day, and that was actually the one that we like. We weren't like I guess we were like the least crazy about
Yeah.
when it came out.
Crash Part 2.
It's really interesting to see the different types of like I guess preferences when it
Yeah,
drops.
but I think it's good that we were able to provide so much variety musically in such a
Yeah.
short project.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
with-
sometimes when you're creating something, you can get too close to it and you don't actually see what the best thing you did was.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
So it's like good to have other people's opinions because they can help you think about songs in a different way. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Like
That's yeah. That's
Yeah.
definitely true. Like I went back to Crash Part 2 a lot more and thought, okay, maybe like I was missing something here because people really liked it now, and I was like, yeah, I didn't even expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a chamber that you might
Mhm.
be able to explore more because there's more there. You know, if you've heard it was that's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for
yeah.
saying Crescent Lake, by the way.
Yeah, we really appreciate
Oh
it.
yeah.
Because some people, no, I mean, like, I just meant that some people either really love that track or they're like, I'm like indifferent to it.
Really?
Yeah, no, like, I remember, I think even like Klwn Cat was like, yeah, this isn't like my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go.
that
You
was
know what I
me.
mean? Like, some people either really like it or some people just don't really care for it, which is cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, our idea behind that one was it was almost like a Nujabes tribute in a way because it's a very lush instrumental. It's very soft.
Yeah. I had some saxophones on originally. I wanted to kind of recreate like a lovesick kind of like track in a way.
Yeah, and we even reference, you know, we
Yeah,
reference
my opening line every morning I wake from a cavernous night. That's from
Lovesick Part 2 by Nujabes.
no, it's one or two.
It's two, I think,
It's
yeah.
two. Okay, either way, like yeah, it was kind of like a very heavily inspired from that.
It was just an homage to it, and it was a good way to start it just from talking about like, you know, growing up basically. That was my introduction verse. And yeah, like even my opening line was pressure cold to a diamond, love sick now I'm shining. So I just kind of remixed one of Sice or Sistar's verse on Lady Brown by Nujabes. He says like pressure cold to a diamond, eyes forever shining. So I just wanted to flip it, you know,
Yeah,
pay homage to some music that inspired me.
of course.
He did
That's
the
awesome.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's great. Before we go to recommendation corner, the advice I would give you is that the more important each individually you get, the more important you get collective,
Absolutely, yeah.
right? So like when NODUO comes out and hits, and then Nonazz solo comes out and hits hard, and then
Yep.
No God solo comes out and hits hard, and then Klwn Cat's when you guys get together, it will now feel like a super team versus this group of buddies. You know,
Oh,
I
absolutely,
agree.
yeah.
yeah.
and you can see that with like the Wrecking Crew. You know what I mean? Like they were just hanging out. Like people weren't yelling about Small Professor being a genius until a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I texted Zilla about, I was like, how weird is it to know that like the best producer in the world is like your buddy? So you would like listen to new releases and be like, I wish Small Pro had done this, you know? Because when I discovered Small Pro, I just kept doing that and being like, oh shit. And he's like, I've been doing that for years. So you will grow, but you have to make sure everyone's growing individually and collectively at the same time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
Stock
I think that's
elevates
the
in that
best
way.
That's just the best way to, you know, avoid conflict too. Because I think the problem with a lot of bands, especially, and you see a lot of bands just historically just falling apart, it's because they're always working together. They don't have time or they don't go for solo ventures. If you have the solo ventures in a balance with the, you know, with the group
Of
work,
course, yeah.
it'll all come
Well,
together.
yeah. Well, and because people didn't build solo careers and keep that bond, like
Mhm.
what'll happen is somebody's stock went up and somebody's didn't. And so now the other person's sitting there like, let's do another album, you know? And the other person's like, finishing my stuff up, you know? And it becomes a thing. So if everybody elevates collectively, it's
I agree.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
But yeah, let's go to recommendation corner. Talk about some music. Hey, what have I been listening to? Let me recommend some stuff here. I don't want to get obvious. Obviously, Billy Woods dropped Hiding Places.
Yeah.
And that was incredible. SD Knack dropped Mini Mansion Dust 6, which is incredible. Knack Man Thanos and all that. I'm gonna go with so first of all, when I was on Bandcamp Friday, I bought a lot of music.
Yep.
And it got to the like I was like, I don't know, a beat up junkie by the end of the night. Like I got one more in me, you know? And I was just scouring really deep into odd labels, you know? So I was deep into Sub Pop records, like old stuff. And I found an album that came out last year. Brett McKenzie, who is known as Brett from Flight of the Conchords. He released a solo album called Songs Without Jokes
Okay.
that are
Okay.
not joke songs. They are not comedic songs, and it's a really straight ahead album, and it's kind of beautiful. It's kind of a mix of like Randy Newman, Bruce Springsteen kind of vibe. I dig it.
Yeah.
It was really cool to hear him. Like, I always loved his song structure, and I just thought he was really funny. On top of that, it was very good to hear without the jokes that he's still very talented and killing it. The other one, I'm gonna go Raekwon here.
Okay.
There's one of the best. One of the things we missed on our Raekwon episode, which, as our guest Tokyo Cigar said, should be in the Smithsonian. It's an excellent episode. But one of the things we missed is this Cuban Revolution album mixtape. Memory Man presents Raekwon Cuban Revolution.
Mm.
It is an amazing mixtape. Absolutely beautiful. It's like one of the best Raekwon projects, which is crazy to say. Raekwon's got some mixtapes that are, better than his albums, and that is one of them. So I would say dig in if you have not.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely will.
Nonazz, give me some recommendations.
One thing I've been listening to a lot recently, I'll just make sure I get the title right. It's Jet Magazine 21 reissue. And also Drop Dodges from Concept Jackson. He's just been the artist I've had it on repeat the most this year, and like I think I'm just a real sucker for his flow, but like I don't know, some of the beats are just like they're super like interesting. Like I just haven't heard some stuff like them, and that's just been like my go-to stuff for like the past few days. And also, of course, HBO by Malcolm. That's like it's kind of like a early summer album for me. Like when May comes around, the weather gets nice, just kind of stuff like that in a way.
Yeah. HBO by Mac Hami is his Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah, it's like it's so crazy. It's like I hated it when I first listened. I'm like, why are people hyping this up? Because the first track I heard was T General, and I'm like, what is this? And it's like I think that's one of the most like insane, like that track's like one of the most ones that's grown on me the most out of everything I've listened to in hip hop. Like it's just I don't know. I used to hate it, but now it's like one of my favorite albums ever. Like I don't know.
That Jet Magazine, by the way, like what you were describing about the Sonics, that's Obliv. I mean, Obliv.
No, I know. I wasn't too like into Obliv like last year. I didn't know much, but he's a really cool artist because he's very versatile with his stuff from what I've heard.
Yes,
I'm the Obliv guy. I'm the Obliv guy.
You cannot Obliv is one of those people where he you can't sound good on Obliv if you don't have any swagger.
Yep. I
Yeah,
agree. He's
yeah.
got just so
You
much
have to have
bounce.
swagger to live on Obliv production.
So much bounce.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Crazy.
So he's definitely one of the best, and I love
And
I love
he
his
has so
music.
many
That's
good beat tips.
Yeah.
great record. Oh yeah, I mean, when I was doing producer, what I did before I had a theme song, which shout out to Andrew for that. I
Yeah.
used to just do a different producer's beats every month.
Yeah.
And I reached out to Obliv, was like, "Can I do you for a month?" And he was like, "Yeah, no problem." And I was just, me and my son were just picking Obliv beats. And he was like, "Oh, that's the intro." It was awesome. Klwn Cat, give me a recommendation. What are you listening to?
Ooh, if I have to do two, like the more obvious one, or the one that you guys might know is Rome by Arm & Hammer. That's just been
Oh yeah,
in my headphones for the past month. Incredible, incredible record.
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane. And one hopefully I would put you on is Martinelli Makaliv by Willie Nova.
Wow, that's a title.
It is. It's a really great tape. He's been on such an insane 3 album run recently. Yeah.
Willie Nova.
Yeah, Willie Nova with 2 Y's.
Oh, see,
I'm not sure if it's on Bandcamp, but either way, it's incredible.
Willie Nova, all one word, I think maybe.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Okay, Martinelli,
Makaliv.
Ooh, I like this cover. Okay, going Huey. I love it. So, that's I bookmark that. I'm gonna go back. Oh, so after No God Goes, Kegel, I got something to say because it's pretty exciting. I'm in pretty.
Yeah, I don't have any recommendations this, so you can just skip me. I've been listening to Billy Woods, so.
Kay's recommendation for the week is Activia yogurt if you're constipated. So,
Absolutely. Hasn't failed me yet.
hasn't failed. No God, what do you got? What do you
Oh, it's
listen?
on me? Okay, I'm gonna show some love to Klwn Cat and plug his Panther Volume 2 album.
Oh yeah.
I think that one got pretty slept on. You know, Sphinx did big numbers, Dragon League did pretty well. Don't Go Outside, they all did well, but Panther Volume 2, I saw him make some of the beats like on a Discord call. He made it in like the span of like a few days, basically.
Like
maybe a
yeah.
week. I can't remember
Yeah.
now, but just the arrangements.
The
way-
vision, like the
Bro, let me talk.
sorry.
Anyway, okay, sorry. So the way the beats are structured, they're like really pure compositions. Like the vocals come in at the right time, the different instruments come in at the right time. It's just a nice project to listen to during warmer weather, and you know that's what I've been on recently. And yeah, shout out to Klwn Cat. I think that's one of his
Thank you.
best projects for sure. And then the other one, this one, I'm gonna cheat with this one, but our friends Big Z and Sneaky Preacher, Naz and I had the luxury of listening to their newest album. It's called Outlandish Fashion. It hasn't dropped yet, and that album just has so much variety. Like there's something for everybody on that, kind of like NODUO, but it's a longer album. They've been making it for like over a year now, and it's gonna come out I think in July. And I've just been listening to that because you know I have early access and I might as well listen to it because nobody else is. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. No, yeah, it's great getting early access to a great album.
But yeah, aside from that, Billy Woods and Arm & Hammer. That's
right. Fair.
And
fair.
Young Morpheus. Yeah.
Yep, Young Morpheus. You can't beat it. I mean, wait, the one that got me with Klwn Cat Project, I think was it Vox and Nova?
Vox and
yeah,
Rama.
yeah. That one's
Vox
awesome.
and Nova, where I was just like, this kid's a fucking genius.
Thank you.
I think it's
Bullish
his best,
after.
I think it might be his best project, along with like Don't Go Outside. to be
Yeah,
honest.
honestly,
It's just, there's like no bad songs on there. There's, you know, you have you have two killer Unruly songs. One with like Morning Run and Matt, who also smoked their verses. One with this guy Sincerely Yours. I think that's the best verse I've ever heard from him. The Sun Mundi song's incredible. The
Oh,
song Deadpan and Willie Nova. both incredible. So Dan, that's Willie Nova right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
second dude on Chasing Caskets.
We
Yep.
might need a full Sun Mundi Klwn Cat album. That would
We
be
might.
Yep.
wishing that into materialization. Okay, I've been geeked up all day because, and it's happened in the RMPP chat. You know, got tagged on a Discord thing, and somebody
Yep.
said I got shouted out by Dylan Green at the beginning of a Real Notes episode.
Oh wow.
I'm a sucker for that. I queue up the episode. Holy shit! Like he was interviewing AJ Suede, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I really got put on to you because I was on Dano's State of the Game end of the year show, and he had one of your projects really high, and I went back to it, and I was just like in this AJ Suede zone. I was like, this dude's the best, and he was like, Suede was like, shout out Dano, and he's like, yeah, they were both like, he's the best, and I was like, this is fucking nuts, dude. My life is fucking nuts. But yeah, I was just like geeked up. I was telling my sisters, it's kind of weird when the head editor of Pitchfork shouts you out and says you're the best. But it's just like, this is great for you. I'm like, who cares about that? Like, the mission is like make AJ Suede money. And I kind of hope I did, right? Because now Dylan knows Suede. Dylan can push for reviews of Suede in Pitchfork, which gets new ears on Suede, which puts money in Suede's pocket. That's what I'm here to do. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
This has been founded in pursuit of not complaining about the music we don't like, but uplifting the music we do.
Yep.
And that's all part of that. So I the love has been unbelievable. So I just want to
Absolutely.
shout out
Absolutely.
Dylan and you know, AJ Suede and you know, Keith's mom for giving us Keith. Shout out childbirth. Yeah. So but and the Patreon, a lot of love happening with Patreon. It's very cool. Oh, the other thing, okay. Andrew is doing an album with Steel Tip Dove. It's coming out tomorrow, 2 days from now.
Oh shoot.
Oh.
It'll be out by the time we got. They hit me up and I wrote the description of it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that was awesome. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, I'm still not at the point where I'm charging people. We'll see how if I feel.
Oh yeah, Dan. I've really been liking your write-ups. Like, I think you've also improved a lot over the past year, maybe. I think I've been reading them. Like, I love reading the producer fantasy picks. I can't remember what it's called.
Those have been
Yeah,
fun.
those are fun. I really like the Young Morpheus write-up. That was excellent.
Yeah.
One that really stuck out for me was the Luca one you did last September, I think, October. That one really stuck out too. And you know, made me appreciate that album a lot more. So, you know, keep plugging away at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I think and there's people who are gonna release music that will have me talking shit on it.
That's fire.
I have been a performance poet. I have been a short story writer. I'm still a creative person while I'm so I need to put that energy somewhere. It's not like a contradiction of this mission statement. It's two different. So I'm just very happy to be able to put my work in different places and challenge myself with different kinds of writing. And I'm glad that some of it has stuck out to you. And when I finish a write up like that Young Morpheus write up, I just look at it and go, "Fuck, that album really pulled that out of me." It just the album pulled it out of me.
That's how I know. That's how we see beats. Like,
Yeah,
the reason
yeah.
we get the stuff we get out of it is because of the beats. Whether
Yeah.
it's from him or it's from Klwn Cat or anybody
Similar,
else.
yeah. So it's exciting and yeah, support your music people because the industry's tough. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, Paper Magazine closed, and there's just a lot of AI bullshit going on.
Yeah.
Young guard,
Oh man. Oh man.
young guard.
What will tomorrow bring? What will tomorrow bring? What will tomorrow